So what is stagflation?
You have to know. You must know.
I must know.
Stagflation is the combination of slow economic growth, thus the stag, and high inflation, thus the inflation. Stagflation together creates, unfortunately, very low job growth, high turnover. One of the best examples of this is during the 1970s, during the oil crisis.
Monetary policy was too loose. The money supply was growing faster than the economy, and that led to inflation. People started to expect inflation, and they built this expectation into their economic decisions.
I'll see your situation and I'll raise you a situation.
During that time frame, we had a very slow economy.
The moderation in growth largely reflects a slowdown in consumer spending.
Dealing with policy turmoil as well as war.
Job gains have slowed, and the downside risks to employment have risen. At the same time, inflation has risen.
And again, that oil crisis, those things all added up.
So, double jeopardy. We are fine. Oh, right. I'm sorry. What is we're fine?
What I want you to understand about stagflation is that it is unfortunately going to hit the people at the bottom of the economy the most.
It's getting harder to find work in the United States. In August, businesses added just 22,000 new jobs.
That's actually quite a weak number. Looking at that in isolation, that would actually be a lot more consistent with the start of a recession, historically.
Gone are the days of 200,000 jobs every month. We're likely to be in an environment where job growth is hovering around zero, essentially.
And this is going to create higher poverty and perhaps lead us to a recession.
The U.S. labor market is worse than previously thought. Less than half of the people polled by the New York Fed say they could find a new job if they lost their current one.
Here in 2025, we have Jerome Powell suggesting that there's a chance that we're going to be potentially in a similar situation.
Downside risks to employment are rising. And if those risks materialize, they can do so quickly in the form of sharply higher layoffs and rising unemployment.
The Federal Reserve can give businesses more confidence to hire workers by adjusting the federal funds rate.
As you may be aware, the job or mandate of the Federal Reserve is to balance both job growth and unemployment, as well as inflation, managing a 2% target.
Remember, we have a really important job. Maximum employment price stability. We regulate and supervise the banks. We operate parts of the payment system.
We can get into why the Federal Reserve has a 2% target and policy around that and whether or not we can agree there. But regardless, these are the two objectives. And Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve chairman, is warning that perhaps we're stepping right into just that sort of a situation. And for great reason, that is why many people are pushing back on the tariffs.
Data and surveys suggest that those price increases largely reflect higher tariffs rather than broader price pressures.
The economy can grow through tariffs, and there are those who are still hoping for a soft landing.
This soft landing has the holy grail for the Powell Fed, an economy in which inflation comes back to target and doesn't tip into recession.
I hate to disappoint everybody. I don't think it's coming. Even Powell doesn't think it's coming.
We can see inflation already coming through to consumer prices based on the on-again, off-again tariffs that we've seen thus far since April and the liberation, as it were.
Liberation Day.
Liberation Day
is the beginning of Liberation Day. We're going to charge countries for doing business in our country.
Now, will the policies and tariffs of 2025 liberate us from our job growth and potential of a soft landing?
Disinflation for services continues, including for housing services. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up on balance over the course of this year on news about tariffs. Beyond the next year or so, however, most measures of longer-term inflation expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. Honestly, the famous statement is financial forecasters are a humble lot with much to be humble about.